Welcome back, everybody. Unboxing John Paul here. And today what we're going to talk about is basically some maintenance and how to refoam your Dynacord D-Lite 2000 or any other Dynacord speaker system in which the foam on the front of it has deteriorated. Now, the Dynacord systems are amazing sound systems, and the one drawback to any of the systems is that you'll see is on the very front of the speaker system, the foam deteriorates. And this has become a problem, especially if you're somebody like me, because you want it to sound good, but you also want it to look good. This can present people like us or anybody in North America somewhat of a problem, since Dynacord, they don't sell parts here in North America. They have one location that they sell their parts, and I believe that's in the New England area. I live in Hawaii. This sound system is a German-made sound system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the tricks and tips that I found, and where I also found to buy the actual materials to actually refoam the front of the Dynacord D-Lite sound system, and at the same time perform some small minor preventative maintenance on the speaker system. It's a great speaker system. You want to go ahead and maintain it as best as possible. You also want it to look as great as possible. The reason why the foam is on the front of it is basically it's a barrier, protective barrier to make sure no debris or anything can actually get inside onto the speaker system and in the cones and possibly mess it up for future uses. In any case, I'll go ahead and start the video and we'll show you the process that I went through. Thanks again.
All right, let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is remove the grill from the front of the speaker. Usually there's going to be some screws on the front side. So let's go ahead and remove these screws. And in my case, these are Phillip head screws that we're removing. Now you're going to see some debris left over from the old foam that was on there that we're going to want to scrub off at some point. You're also going to want to remove the emblem. Now you're going to do this very delicately. There's some clips on the back side of where the emblem is, and you can remove them with a flathead screwdriver. Again, they are very delicate, so you want to avoid using any kind of real force. All that debris on the front, you're going to want to remove that and scrub that free before we put the new foam back on there. Now I used some car wash that I had left over, but if you have any strong degreaser or any heavy duty soap, you could use that as well with a strong scrubber. You're going to want to, again, remove all the little debris and leftover foam and adhesive that was on there previously from the install. Again, front and back, a nice rinse. Now there's no places in the US that I could find, or here in Hawaii, that I could actually find engineered foam. And so I found a place online that was called the Foam Factory, and I believe they're from Canada, and they actually have engineered foam that allows all the frequency to come through. So you can go ahead and get online and order through them. They shipped it pretty fast. It took about 5 business days to get to my house. After I got it, I just laid down a roll on a piece of cardboard and I cut out the shape of the grill as so. So for the adhesive, I just use this photo spray. It's like photo glue spray that I found at the Walmart. It works well because it's like a spray paint can, and I essentially spray painted the backside with it, the adhesive, and I just roll it on to apply it and press down. Now you're going to want to avoid getting glue on the front as I did, and you're going to leave the sides open for there so you can put the screws back in when you're installing the grill back on the actual speaker. Again, you're going to reinstall the Dynacord emblem by just poking it through the foam. And once you get that lined up, then you're going to take the clamps that you removed earlier so delicately, so they are still intact and they can be reused, and you're going to pop the clamps back on there by just applying a little bit of pressure from the front side and the back side of the clamp. And there you go. Now the last thing that we need to do is go ahead and install the grill back onto the speaker. Just lay it back down there. Put the screws back in. And as you can see, the little flap that I left available allows me to push away the foam from the side and reinstall the screws without making holes in the actual foam. Now for the leftover lip, there's a little wedge tool that I actually found online. You can also look online or use any kind of flat tool. I would avoid using a screwdriver because it might rip the foam. If you look online, you can find these cool wedge tools for very little. And as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and use the wedge tool and wedge the leftover foam into that little wedge or little crack that's available between the grill and the speaker. And as you can see, it's going to give it that really nice professional factory look. Now the last thing that we need to do is the subwoofer. We go ahead and remove the screws so we can remove the grill and repeat the process. I didn't realize there's two other screws underneath there, and so there you go. I finally see that and remove them, and now the grill should come off easily. And from the last foam that was on here, it kind of left the cone and the speaker and the grill a real mess. You're going to see a lot of debris and basically crumbled foam that's sitting on and around and in the cone. And you're going to want to remove this debris because basically when you're using these speakers, they do tend to get hot. And at some point, the debris will liquefy and will get onto your speaker and cause integrity problems for future uses, and you're going to want to avoid that. Now you can use can spray, and you're going to want to be pretty gentle and very delicate when you're trying to touch the front of the cone. You're going to want to avoid touching the front of the cone as much as possible. Although there will be times where there's some debris on there and you can use some really light fabrics to remove any kind of bigger pieces of debris on the cone. Again, we're going to go ahead and remove the Dynacord emblem on the front of the grill. Now, if you watch closely, this very first one, I get a little impatient and I break it. So this was a good example of what not to do when you're removing these emblems. Now, the other three that I do, I remove intact because I take my time and I'm a little bit more gingerly with it. That one kind of went flying, but I did recover it. There you go, removed. Now we can go ahead and get ready to scrub down the front and all that debris that's been stuck on there for who knows how long. Again, any kind of degreaser will work suffice. Just make sure you have a good scrubber, a good brush. Okay, and now we are done with the cleaning phase. We're going to go ahead and cut out the shape. So we have nice, and we're going to leave a little bit hanging over the edge. Once again, we're going to go ahead and use the photo adhesive spray. Again, you can buy this at Walmart or any of your drugstores, or even online. Make sure it's applied. Press down a little bit on it. So far it's looking pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and install the Dynacord emblem again. Once again, all you need to do for this is line up the holes and then go ahead and poke it through, and then use the clips that you ever so gingerly removed earlier. And again, this is going to go ahead and give you that nice factory installed look. And finally, we're going to go ahead and install the grill onto the subwoofer. Again, you're going to see a little bit of the foam hanging out over the edges. And what we're going to go ahead and do is use the wedge tool, as you saw from the other speaker, and wedge that in there all the way around. And you'll see me doing that here in a minute. And I want to thank you for watching here with Unboxing John Paul. I hope you're entertained or this helped you with refoaming and maintenance on your Dynacord D-Lite speaker system. Look how good they look.